Communities in schools. Learn more right after this.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome to Community Watch. Hey, Greg.
Doc,
How are you?
fine, and you?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Something special about this show today.
And why is that?
Communities in Schools was the first show we ever done
Yes.
with Nancy and Mr. Morrow and a couple other people. The very first show we ever done years ago.
Yeah. Is there some reason they never came back after that?
I guess we were just terrible.
Well, I know that you have been involved in various ways in that organization for quite a while.
So, and you have mentored a lot of kids through Communities in Schools and through the school system.
So I'd like to know, how they're doing as an organization and what's different about them. I'm not sure. Maybe there are still some folks who are unfamiliar with the organization, but if they are, they need to know about it.
Oh yeah, we have some new leadership, some new changes, and so we're gonna learn a lot. I'm looking forward just as much as you are to learning about CIS under this new leadership and what some of the goals and plans.
Well, we be joined by our guests after the break, and we'll learn a great deal more about communities in schools and mentoring. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
My college offers classes that meet my educational and career goals.
With opportunities outside of the classroom.
Where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits to a bachelor's.
My college is a state college within the university system of Georgia.
My college offers courses that fit my schedule.
It's where excellence begins.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and we're very happy to be joined by two Communities in Schools leaders, honchos, community saviors in a lot of ways. So Mr. Wooten and Ms. Veal, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
For those two or three folks who may not know what Communities in Schools is and what it's all about, tell us, what is the organization and what is its primary function?
Okay. Well, we are Communities in Schools of Rome and Floyd County, Incorporated. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and the mission is to surround students with the community of support to empower them to stay in school and achieve in life. One of our main focus areas here in Rome and Floyd County is our mentoring program. That's what a lot of people know us for. We put mentors and volunteers in the county schools and the city schools.
And Mr. One caveat out there is Mr. Wooten, but you are the new.
I am the new Executive Director of Communities in Schools, CIS. Yes.
Well, that's a
you are the
job that comes with.
Well, and a lot comes with that.
Yeah.
I came on board in August, so I feel like I hit the ground running. Coming in and look at some things that need to be done differently, and we're doing that. We have a new website that just went live a couple of weeks ago, so we're excited about that. Doing some PR appearances, and this is the first one of a few. So we're trying to get our name out there, even more than it has been in the past. And we are evidence-based. That's what kind of makes us different from a lot of other dropout prevention programs. CIS is the largest nonprofit dropout prevention program in the United States, and we are evidence-based in our practices.
Well, I guess I need to ask what that means.
That means that the things we do are proven. They're proven. Yeah, we don't just fly by the seat of our pants. You know, we do things that are proven.
Okay.
So then basically you're talking about documenting, tracking.
Yes.
That you have evidence that says whatever we're doing it has been proven.
Yes, over time.
Over time to
Yes.
work.
Yes. CIS originally started out in the 1970s, so we've been around for a long time. Now here in Rome, I think next year will be the 25th anniversary for the affiliate here in Rome, but CIS has been around since the 70s, so have a long track record of success.
Well, 25 years is substantial for the local organization.
It is, yes.
So tell me a little bit more about the way, I know mentoring can occur in a lot of different ways. So tell me about how mentoring works in your organization, or the different ways.
Sure.
That it can
Yeah, it kind of works in a couple of different ways. Now, CIS, we do the training and the certification of mentors, again, in the city and the county. So what that involves is doing the training and also doing a background check to make sure that people are, cleared and, okay, to mentor, with our young people. And then we send the list to the schools, and the counselors match up the students with the mentors that we have given them. So it kind of works like that on an individual basis, and the ask is 1 hour per week with your mentee in the schools. But a lot of our mentors, they do more than that, but that's the minimum ask. Then the other part of our mentoring program comes in where we do group mentoring, and that's where organizations like 100 Black Men, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, they work with our students in groups.
And is there more focus on a certain age group, or?
Not necessarily, but the way it turns out to be most times is that we have more mentors in the elementary and middle schools. We don't have so many in high schools. I think people kind of see it as when you're working with a younger person, it's a little easier to relate. I think that's my rationale anyway. So more people kind of gravitate to the elementary and middle age group.
Now, Ms. Veal, I'm curious because I know you are a vital fixture for the PLC, the Phoenix Learning Center for Rome City. So, and I know you do a lot of things, but I really don't know what your job entails. So really, what is your role? Because I know you do a lot of things. I'm quite sure sometimes some of those things goes beyond your job description, but what is your role as it relates to CIS?
Basically, my job is just to surround the kids with whatever services they need, just so they'll stay in school and be successful, whatever it is that they need.
She's selling herself short. Okay, let me jump in. She is a site coordinator.
Yes.
And along with what she said, of course, she's telling the truth, but she does other things as well. She makes sure that they stay on track academically. She brings in resources from the community. She does a lot. She's a counselor, she is a advisor, she's a mama,
friend,
friend, confidant, she's everything rolled up into one as a site coordinator. So, a lot of our students really, come to her when they're having problems at home or what have you. So she serves a vital role at the Phoenix Performance Learning Center.
Well, let me ask, because I know from my experience mentoring that the mentees are not necessarily insightful enough or self-aware enough to know what it is they need to improve. So, Ms. Veal, if you provide all those missing pieces, there must be some challenge involved in figuring out what those pieces are. I mean, because I know that just in my experience that it's not always clear immediately when you meet a student what it is that's missing or what it is that they need to to succeed. So I'm guessing part of your job has got to be asking the right questions or or earning trust in a way that they reveal the things you need to know in order to provide those things?
Right. Basically, the kids have to do a interview with us. So I take notes at the interview. I look over their behavior chart. Once they get to the PLC, I have a survey that they do, one for home, one for them. So I take all of that and put it together after talking with the kids, and I can kind of, figure out what it is that they need. So basically, I take a lot of things and make my decision on that.
And I do know, and trust comes
Absolutely.
in, it becomes big. And
Absolutely.
I think one of the reasons I think people gravitate toward elementary and middle school, I think it's in some ways easier sometimes to mentor those kids. It's
Yes.
hard to mentor
Yes, it is.
an older kid, a sullen kid, a kid who
Right.
doesn't want to come to school.
Exactly.
And so I know every time I see you, a lot of time I think you're interacting with a student, if it's in the hall in your office. But I think part of that, and I think that's one of the things that the hallmark of mentoring is really relationships.
Right, exactly.
And it's just, it's a beautiful thing to see you sometimes with some of those young ladies and men, and just the relationship you are able to forge with them, and then to see that child progress and graduate. And I do have to say that I do know the PLC has been instrumental in increasing the graduation rate for Rome High School.
Yes.
The graduation rate that the
Absolutely.
PLC has,
Absolutely.
and community schools plays a large role in that. That is very different.
Yes.
It's a very different relationship.
Definitely. In the past 3 years, the Phoenix Performance Learning Center has enjoyed increasing graduation. Okay. I think from 45 to 49 to 61
That's
in
right.
the past 3 years, they've had students to graduate, and that has really coincided with what you just said, the Rome High School graduation rate. So makes a huge difference. Huge difference. PLC is very instrumental in Rome City schools.
Now, but I'm curious because I do know when I first became aware of communities in schools, the push was really big on individual mentoring. Resources were there. It appeared to be really motivation to get one-on-one in the schools, whatever. Then it seemed like there was a change where resources were funneled. I don't know from what level, but it seemed like PLCs became an avenue for schools to gravitate some of those kids. So going forward, do you see that kind of getting back into every school? I know at one point I think CIS was in every school in Rome City and probably Floyd County.
Yeah, you're right. There has been some change. Miss Ville at the PLC, and that serves high school students. Miss Meacham, who's also going to be with us in just a little bit, she serves middle school students. And so there has been some change, and so it's kind of a challenge for me to try to go back and forth to try to do middle school and high school and to provide each age group with the services they need, because it's two different age groups. So yeah, you're right.
And go ahead. You had
No, go ahead.
Because I know over the years you've mentored a lot of kids, and I know schools are always asking for mentors.
Yes.
Schools are always asking for mentors. But I just know at one point it seemed like the community, and it could be me, but it seemed like the community at one point, we had more advocates, I guess, for mentors. And now it seems like right now we got people in the system, but there's a gap. We have a huge demand for mentors right now within the school system, and it's not being, it's not being met because we just don't have the mentors.
Right.
And so that's a challenge. I'm quite sure.
Right. It is a challenge. This month is National Mentoring Month, January. So we really want to reinforce this month, especially for people to be mentors. And it is a pretty big ask for people to be mentors. Most people have jobs during the day, and in the lunch hour, they want to go eat and relax. They don't want to take the lunch hour to go mentor. But it could help so much, for a young person, to have that extra person in their lives. A student who's coming from a single parent home or a broken home, just having that extra person is very valuable.
Well, I want to get into that a little more and talk about your particular needs.
Okay.
We're coming up on a break here in a few seconds. Please stay with us. This is an important topic. You need to hear more about it, and we'll be right back after this.
If you're looking for a new pet that your family will cherish every day, consider adopting from a shelter. Shelters are the best places to find a new pet. That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals, eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet, so bring home your new buddy today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're having a conversation about communities and schools and mentoring. And we have Mr. Greg Wooten, who is the Executive Director of Communities and Schools. We've been joined by Jennifer Meacham. Welcome.
Thank you.
And what is your title with the organization?
I am the Community and Schools Site Director at Coosa Middle School, and so I work with the students there.
All right, great. We were talking a little bit about individual mentoring, and what is your sense of how many mentors we have or you have, and what as opposed to the need?
Right. Well, we do need more than we have. I think with the most recent numbers, I think we had maybe 250, I believe. Now, all of them are not active, but on our rolls, I think they're around 250. Always have more volunteers and mentors. We're really looking at that to see who's active, who's not, and to contact those who are not active to see are they still in Rome, or what the issue is, and try to revive their interest in mentoring. So that's going to take some time, going through that database, but we're looking at that.
I'm curious, Mr. Wooten, that an hour a week is really not a lot. It is, but it's not.
Right.
I mean, in the big scope of things, especially if your employer will allow you to do that.
And most will.
Yeah,
most will.
It's different if your employer won't allow you.
Right.
But I've always just kind of felt like we say education is important as a community, as a society, but an hour a week is just not a lot in the big scheme of things.
Right.
But when we know the impact that 1 hour can have.
Exactly.
When you look at your return on investment,
yes.
you'd be hard pressed to find a better ratio of giving to and getting back when you look at just 1 hour of mentoring. And so I've always just wondered, is it that people are unsure exactly what mentoring is? Because even in the 100 we get new men in, you still kind of have to take them through this process, and they're not sure exactly what do I do. I mean, I'm wondering what is the big challenge, because I think we have a large loving community here in Rome, but getting mentors, active mentors, still seems to be a big challenge.
Right. I think it's a couple of things. I think it's the time aspect, whether real or perceived. Also, I think it's that people might not know how to relate, to a child. So I think that's a barrier. So I think that's a couple of things. But hitting back on the return of investment, an hour is not a lot, I don't think. And a lot of our schools are very flexible. If you can't do an hour, they'll take 45 minutes, they'll take 30 minutes, whatever you can do, but make it a consistent thing. Okay, if it's not an hour, if you can do 30 minutes, make that 30 minutes consistent. And the schools will be, fine with that. Because 30 minutes is better than nothing. When you're talking about the economic impact, specifically financially, I'm talking now, with every dollar invested into a CIS student, it's an economic return of $11.60. So when you're talking about the bang for your buck, time or financial, it's one of the best deals going out there today. So we do need human resource donation, but we need financial donations as well, because we want to provide our students with field trips and supplies in the classroom they might need and things like that. So it's a lot of ways you can give back, financially as well as your time.
And what's happening out in Coosa?
We have several different needs. My primary focus is on attendance and parental involvement. So I'm constantly trying to think of new, exciting ways for the students to become involved in school. That way they want to come, they want to participate, they want to do their best. And I do it a couple different ways. For students who really struggle with attendance, I work more one-on-one with them. I reward them for coming, giving them lunch bunch, so they get to pick a friend and they get to come and have lunch in my room, watch a movie while they do it. Just a little positive, hey, you know what? Your attendance is improving. And then to get everybody else excited about school, I implement different programs. So I did the Red Ribbon Week, we did Dress Up Week, we did a balloon release where every student wrote down why they're drug free and we put it in a balloon and released it. Veterans Day, I planned a reception and a program. We had the band perform, the chorus perform, students wrote letters to the veterans, just something to show gratitude and get them involved back in the school. Currently, we're doing what's called Hard Work Cafe to reward not just our students, but our teachers, our parents, and community members for those that go above and beyond, who really put in the extra time, the effort, who are willing to stay late, do whatever it takes to help make our school a success. We're having a lunch for them this Friday just as a thank you to them.
Now, Ms. Meacham, you said something that's very critical, Mr. Wood, and that's something I know I've always kind of struggled with is parental involvement in mentoring.
Right.
That can be tricky.
It can be. It can be
tricky. And so I as a member of the 100, you know, you can find yourself struggling with that dynamic.
Right.
But I think that's so key that, you know, parents be a part of that relationship when all possible, because as a mentor, you're not there to replace parents.
Right.
You're not to be a substitute parent.
Right. Right.
And you really want to have, and I've always believed if me and the parent could be on the same page, then we both could work on getting the kid on the same page. But that can be a tricky one.
It can, and that's one of the things that we think about all the time. Attendance and parental involvement are the two main things that Ms. Meacham works on at Coosa Middle, because they've identified those are the two main issues. So of course, if a student is not coming to school, they can't learn, so they're not going to be successful. In addition to the parental involvement, if the parents aren't really involved and engaged, you know, that's going to be a barrier to high school graduation down the line. And so we identified those things before the school year started, and then we devised a plan, you know, to attack those things. It really boils down to relationships. It's all about relationships, you know, developing a relationship with the students and also with the parents, you know, having these programs, you know, feeding people, you know, is definitely a draw, and giving them good information when they come and letting them know how important a part of their child's education they can be.
So if you were to focus on your particular needs now, would it be mentors be your primary need, or donations, or do you need it all?
Right, we really need it all. Of course, with most nonprofit these days, it's financial, you know, and that's, you know, par for the course at most nonprofits, like I said. So financial is a need, but definitely, you know, human capital as well. You know, mentors, volunteers. You know, if you can be a guest speaker, you know, that's a great thing. If you can provide a job shadowing, you know, if you're at a company and you can have one of my students shadow at your company, you know, we would love that as well. So there are many, many ways that people can help. And if you just go to our website, www.cisrome-floyd.org, you will see some of the ways that you can help. And just contact me, you know, call me, email me, and we'll get you hooked up.
Well, we'll give that website again near the end of the show.
Great.
I guess I'm curious again about why it's so difficult to get mentors, because now you tell me if this is not correct, but my experience has been that all of the individuals that I know who have mentored find it. I mean, it's not always easy, but it's always something that you're glad that you have done, and it's hard to stop doing it once you've started. I can say that. So, you know, I sort of feel like if you just get them to give it a try, they'll want to keep.
That's the thing.
Going,
you have to give it a try. You have to kind of break that ice. And and we'll help you. We'll give you tips on how to work with students. We'll buddy you up with an established mentor, so you can ask questions of that person to say, hey, how can you reach a kid that's coming from this circumstance? So that's a way as well. So we have things in place that can help people who are new to the mentoring game. So people shouldn't be afraid. They're just people. They're little people and younger people, but they're just people too. And once you find that common ground, be it a common hobby or maybe you have the kind of job that they're interested in, you can find that common ground and you can relate to a child.
And I guess that's the battle, not just communities and schools, but really as a society, we really have to ask ourselves is, why? We know there's such a need.
Right.
We say we value education
yes.
at a high level, and yet it is hard.
It is hard
to find mentors that's willing to come into the schools and just give an hour. And I guess that's something really beyond CIS that we got to ask ourselves, because I know we both personally know the reward and the payoff that you can get. And it is hard. I mean, I think even with little kids, to me, I don't deal with little kids. I really deal with a high school kid any day.
Okay, you're different.
Yeah, you're different. I just don't like, because if I say I need you to pay attention, the little kid, I don't know what they know. They can't always express. I can deal with defiance, but crying and whining, I don't deal well with that. But I know the need, and in education, it is paramount. And I know years ago when they was doing the whole suicide prevention and thing, and they was talking about, one of the things they found is that kids say if they have one person in their life, just one person, decreases the suicide rate dramatically. And so and it just made me think, wow, you have a lot of kids who don't even feel like they have one person. So being a mentor is a very important role that we all can play in some child's life.
It is. And probably if you think about it, we all had mentors. It might not have come from a formal program, but we all had a coach or a teacher, somebody other than our family that took an interest in us. I had a math teacher, Mr. Harmon. Math was my worst subject, but he took an interest in me to help me, and he was a black male. He was the only black male teacher I had through all my 12 grades of education.
And that's another subject.
That's another subject. Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
That's a different subject.
Right. But he was the hardest on me, but I appreciated what he did. Because he made me, try harder and work harder, so I could eventually pass algebra. So we all kind of had that person that took the extra interest.
Well, we're coming up on another break here shortly. When we come back, we will give you the contact information again, so you will know how to go about becoming a mentor yourself, what you need to do. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
My college offers classes that meet my educational and career goals,
with opportunities outside the classroom,
where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits toward my bachelor's.
My college is a state college within the University System of Georgia.
My college is affordable.
It's close to home.
My college has online opportunities.
It's where excellence begins.
We are
GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been having a conversation about communities and schools and mentoring. So, Mr. Wooten, I'm going to ask you if you would give again the contact information.
Yes, the website, www.cisrome-floyd.org. Okay, phone number 706-802-5740.
And the reason you need that contact information is because you need to become a mentor. You need to perhaps make a donation, but you can help. And it's an important organization. There are ways for you to do it. So make the call, go to the website. This is important, so do this. Thank you both.
Thank you all.
And thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time on Community Watch.